society collectively remembers something that isn't true.
Like the Berenstain Bears?
Yeah. I think I'm too bad at remembering to have that happen.
I think it is dumb.
It is dumb.
I think it's the equivalent of, since we're just talking like buzzwords that everyone calls everything that, I think it's the equivalent of a person gaslighting the world. When you're so confident that it was Berenstain Bears, that you're like, you know what? The world must have changed. You're all in a different reality. That's the problem. It's not that I misremembered something from my childhood that is pretty inconsequential. It's not that I've just been misreading because when I was a child, like, you don't look that carefully and you just repeat whatever you hear.
Yeah.
It can't be that. It must be multiple universes have collided and I'm in the wrong one. And that's the problem.
It doesn't really affect me.
Yeah, because when
I'm an adult. I go to work every day. Berenstain versus Berenstain doesn't affect my day-to-day life. Your life, it might affect a little bit more, but it doesn't come up.
when I heard that was the only one I was like, oh, really? Huh, I've been wrong this whole time. And then I went on because I'm willing to admit I just was wrong. I remembered that wrong.
Yeah.
I never believed Nelson Mandela was dead before he was dead, though. I think those people are just, not good at knowing what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And you can talk to me about multiple universes all day long.
Oh, yeah.
I'm reading a book on string theory right now.
You lost me at book.
Well, I bet you're going to talk about some sort of book today.
I am.
That was kind of like a segue. But
yeah, that's what I was doing.
I need
totally.
to introduce before I can segue, I guess.
Yes.
So, welcome everyone to a very special episode of I Loved That, and Why Don't You? That's what this has been called the whole time. Do you remember something different? Must be a different universe.
Oh, it's that universe. It's just changing.
Then I was going to introduce us with different names, but we should actually have names.
Yeah.
So with me is my lovely co-host, Samantha Berenstain Randhawa. And I'm your other host, Indy Kazam Randhawa.
Oh.
That's the other big one.
Yeah.
Sinbad was in a movie called Kazam.
I thought it was Shazam.
Oh, yeah. Because there was actually a movie called Kazam. And people are just conflated a couple things together. That's all that happened.
They just, collectively remember 7 things in one.
But if you want to do an experiment with this whole Mandela Effect thing, just go tell someone, remember when, and make up a movie that happened. Yeah. And most people just go, yeah, I remember that. It doesn't have to be Kazam or Shazam or Berenstain or Nelson Mandela, or you can just make up anything and just say it confidently and say, hey, remember that? People will agree with you.
Yeah.
Let's get on with things. So today's a little short episode, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the mental bandwidth for a long one.
Oh my God. I'm very brain dead today.
Perfect. That's what we want in one of these. We'll each have a spoiler-free thing of the fortnight. And then it's my turn to let you know what movie we're watching next week.
Dum, dum, dum.
Sam doesn't know, but you can by looking at the title of this episode.
I don't know. I know nothing. I'm just sitting here in blissful ignorance.
What a way to live life.
It's nice. I prefer it.
Yeah.
Sometimes just being dumb and not in the search of knowledge is kind of nice. I have to give my brain a rest.
Yeah, you just sit there and look good.
Yep, that's my job.
I have to make up for it. So I have to read books on fucking string theory and then talk about it on a podcast like some asshole.
I think
because I don't look like you look.
Oh man, we are tired today.
Maybe this makes for great podcasting because the most popular podcasts are one where people just like sit around and talk about nonsense.
Huh.
Well, should I actually give some content now?
Yeah, let's do that.
So my thing of the fortnight is the Canadian television show Shoresy.
Oh, I've heard of that as of yesterday.
So Shoresy is a Canadian television show, and it is very Canadian, and it is about hockey and it is very hockey. So
It is very hockey.
it's a spin-off of a TV show called Letterkenny, which lasted for many seasons. And I did like, there's a lot to like about it. And the creator and lead in that was a man named Jared Kiso. And he is now the creator and lead in this one. Shoresy was a character in that show, but just kind of a very minor one who you only see on screen, like his face at least. Well, you never see his face, but you see something besides his butt only once. And Jared Kiso plays him and did the voice in that, and now has taken that character and spun it off into its own show. And it takes this very one-note, essentially faceless character from that show and manages to turn it into a really layered and complex protagonist, because he's still like it's a lot of foul-mouthed insults, and that's still a part of it. But now you also get to see this fiercely loyal, very principled and driven man, and I don't know if you want to say facade that he puts on, because I think that's him just as well, but it balances a good bit of that same comedy that was present in Letterkenny with a lot more emotion and character depth. In a lot of ways, the show is about maturation, about evolving, but still keeping what makes you you. And the character goes through that. And I think the show itself is part of that. It is still, like I was saying, very Canadian, very small town like Letterkenny was, but it's evolving. And Jared Kiso as a creator and a director and writer and actor is evolving as well. So if you're familiar with Letterkenny, you'll know that there's a lot of wordplay in that show. There is definitely much less in Shoresy, but that's still it's still present. Like Letterkenny would do these things where characters would speak like in the alphabet, like the first word would start with A, then B, then C, and that's how they did with weird things like that sometimes, but it really gets into wordplay. And sometimes in Shoresy it can be very complicated. Sometimes it's phrases that are repeated very often, much more than just like a catchphrase. And sometimes it's just really creative insults. I really appreciate that this show gets into what is unique about hockey. It does a better job getting across what it means to be on a team than a lot of other movies or shows do. And there are so many little things in this show that I've grown up with, because I started playing hockey when I was five or six. And now I'm 40 and I'm still playing. And all these things are probably kind of foreign to a lot of people, but it's nice to be on the inside of something and be like, I get that. And I always wonder if that's just like what like white people feel like when they watch all TV.
Yeah.
Are they always like, yeah, that's my life?
Probably.
And there's a lot of satire to the hockey side of things, but it's done with love. It's making fun of it, but not... It's kind of like how we live in Edmonton, and I can make fun of Edmonton because I'm from here. If someone from Toronto did that, I'd be like,
God.
Fuck you.
Yeah, no, we'd be all up in arms.
Yeah. It's like how you can pick on a sibling, but no one else can.
Yes.
And this is, it's done with a lot of love. And I love all of the different contradictions or dichotomies at work in this one. Like, it's mostly about these hockey players and they'll knock out someone's teeth in a game, but then they're always sure to call their moms afterward. When you get outside of the games, there are a lot of really attractive women that will be dancing around, but before you can dismiss it as being like exploitive, the show also has a lot of really smart, strong women who aren't eye candy or sidekicks or even love interests, but rather important authoritative figures. And it's a weird balance that is kind of going on both sides. Like Shoresy himself, the lead character, he'll get all hyped up before a game, but then he always cries during the national anthem. And it kind of has a lot of that us versus them small town mentality. Like, we're from here and everyone else is an outsider. But it doesn't get into the racist or homophobic parts of that, because there's also a lot of good representation, whether it's them going to dance at the gay bar, or there's a lot of Indigenous representation in this one too.
I'm really enjoying that.
And similarly, they'll talk about like how hot someone is on Instagram, but then when he meets the woman he has a crush on, he's like, oh, you make my heart sing. I would be so good to you. I just want to listen to you tell me about your day and mow your lawn. Like, he's also very sweet in all of this crassness, because it'll be like poop jokes, but then it's also someone reckoning with how the life they are living is not the one they wanted, but eventually figuring it out. And ultimately, it's like a positive show, and people are about that maturation and about that growth. The first 3 seasons, I think, are fantastic. The first one is setting things up. And you've watched the first 3 episodes of season 1.
Yeah.
So I would say the first season is maybe a little more surface and a little more shallow and more reliant on the comedy aspect of it. How have you been finding this show? I was very surprised because I'd watched it before, and you said you were a little interested in watching, which was really surprising to me.
I don't know. I find like Canadiana shows like that interesting because it is a different part of Canada than we're from. And I did know that there was like a large Indigenous representation in the show, so I was interested in that aspect. And then hockey is something that I'm like newly learning about, and also have like watched for a large portion of my life. So I think it's interesting to see it from this aspect. So that's why I was interested.
So you're only 3 episodes in so far. Is it too crass?
It's a little on the crass side, but
not too?
Not too crass.
How much of it can you understand? And I mean, when I'm saying this, if you haven't seen the show, the way they speak makes perfect sense to me as a Canadian who grew up playing hockey.
Yeah.
And the vocabulary they use it's not how I talk here. When I play hockey, I talk quite differently.
Yeah.
A lot of what they say has like 3 layers to it. So how much of that?
I think I'm like getting like 80% of it.
Okay, that's good.
Well, I mean, I've lived with you for like 8 years. So.
Yeah, but I don't talk like that to you.
No, but you will explain things to
Sure.
me every so often, and like you talk about hockey, and yeah. So I think like 80%.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of it I can just like figure out on my own.
Yeah, you get it in context.
I
like,
live in the world.
He's insulting that person.
Yes.
I don't get all the nuance of it.
No.
But if you do get all the nuance of it, it's so much more fun. Because the vocabulary, the use of language in this show is fantastic and one of the best parts, I think. But also, like, for a low-budget Canadian comedy about hockey, it's surprisingly well shot. It's very cinematic at points.
Yeah.
Especially when there's fight scenes or game sequences when they're showing the actual hockey game. It's actually hard for me to pinpoint what it is about how they photograph the hockey sequences that I love so much. But I think what it is that the people making it and acting in it play hockey.
Yeah.
So it's less reliant on cutting to kind of put some excitement into it, and it lets things go a little longer. It's kind of edited halfway between an action movie and actual hockey highlights.
Right, yeah.
So there's not nearly as much choppy editing, which kind of gets people in and cuts around mistakes if the people on the ice aren't actually good at hockey, but they pretty much are. So they can let that shine more. Like in martial arts movies,
right.
I always hate it when it's like Bourne style with the shaky camera that's right in the fight and you actually can't see anything.
And like all the clips are like Marvel style where you get like 1.1 second of every shot.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't actually know what I'm looking at.
If these people are learning all this fight choreography, let me see it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hide it from me. Like, show me all the work that these performers have put in.
Yeah.
Same with like we were watching the Step Up movies. They started cutting away from dancing.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? It's a dance movie.
Dance movie.
Give me some long shots. Let me see things.
Yeah. And a lot of times you lose your ability to kind of deduce where everyone is in a scene.
Yes.
Which is really annoying to me. And
which sports movies are very guilty of doing usually.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry. There's one of my favorite movies growing up was Above the Rim. And in the final sequence for like the game-winning dunk, a guy passes the ball to himself.
What?
He passes it, and then we cut away, and it's him getting it. And like,
Yeah.
it's just poorly edited, right?
Yeah. I know there's like some of the big Marvel movie fight scenes. I'm like, Kate, I don't understand where anyone is in this fight sequence and like who's fighting who and what's happening and who's on what side even, because it's just like flashing lights.
Yeah. And
for
if you
20 minutes.
are an actual hockey fan, and you watch hockey in a movie often, they will be offside all the time. And you'll be like, no, you can't pass from there to there. That's illegal. You can't do this. But this is made. Everyone on the ice played hockey at a decently high level.
Yeah.
And including the people behind the camera. And that makes a big difference
Yeah.
to someone like me. And I think that does translate, because when you're filming something you love, that comes through.
Mm-hmm. I think we talked about that in the Bring It On episode. Because I'm like, she wasn't actually that high off the ground. That's a really simple stunt.
Cheerleaders weren't making that movie.
No, and it looks like she's like 6 stories off the ground when she's actually like chest height on someone.
Yeah.
And she's not falling that far. So, yeah.
And then there's also the music. That was a big part of Letterkenny, and a lot of his electronic music that he loves so much comes into this as well. Mm-hmm. We had a dance break at end of episode 2, I think.
Oh, yeah.
We just let the credits go and danced over that because that was pretty good. But there are also sequences. You haven't seen it yet, but there's this song called True Love by Tobias Jesso Jr. And it's just like a really slow, kind of sad sounding song. And the sequences of guys fighting and playing hockey to that it's beautiful without sounding over dramatic. It shows you the beauty of the game and not in some overwrought emotional or like the Americans are beating the Soviets and it's this big thing and they're fighting for their country. It's just these guys playing in a game that ultimately doesn't matter, but they give everything for it. And there's something in that speaks to me, who's like a 41-year-old guy who's still blocking shots. Why would I do that? And there's just something ingrained in you, and just as these characters have it, and they kind of expound on that and talk about that much more in later seasons, but there's something there that speaks to a lot of people like me who grew up playing the sport, and there is something unique to every sport. But there's, even if you're not like a hockey person, I think there's definitely something to like in this show. It's funny because I've heard people talk about it, and so few of them are hockey fans because it's kind of gained like a worldwide cult following. And they're always asking, like, what do these things mean? I was like, oh, I'm like an expert in this. This is great. So the show is called Shoresy. It has 4 seasons out. I think the first 3 are amazing. I actually didn't love the 4th.
Oh.
I understand the themes of maturation and growth are very present in the 4th, but I think it also lost a little bit of something which I loved about it, but that's not something for today. But for someone who's seen 3 episodes now, do you see any of the deeper stuff that I was talking about yet?
I think so.
I feel like it's not very present yet, but we'll see.
I can tell it's coming.
We will check back with you. Probably not that long because the seasons are only 6 episodes each. So you can, and it's like 22-minute episodes. So there's not too much
fast.
of it. So go check out Shoresy. I don't know where. In Canada, it's kind of easy to find, but it might be harder outside. But go watch it. It's pretty good.
Awesome.
How about you, Samantha? What audiobook are you going to talk about today?
So I every so often read a memoir. This one is about Kelly Bishop, who played Emily Gilmore on Gilmore Girls. It's called The Third Gilmore Girl.
So oddly enough, sorry to interrupt again, both Shoresy and this memoir, Jason Mantzoukas recommended at the same time, because I guess he's just kind of like, I like whatever is good. And I kind of feel like I'm the same way, but all 3 of us, you, me, and Mantzoukas, are very big Gilmore Girls fans.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a very big Shoresy fan.
That's fun.
And he was talking about this memoir.
Yes, I remember we were listening when he was talking about it, and I already had it in my holds. I think I waited about 6 months for this book. So it came out in September. of last year. It's like a pretty quick one. I think I actually listened to it in a day because I just like could not stop listening to it.
Oh, is it not very long?
It's not that long. I think it was like 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
So I think I listened to it in like a work day. She has had an incredible life. You get to hear about her early life. You get to hear about her as a ballerina. She danced with American Ballet Theater. She was part of the dance company for the Rockettes.
Oh, I didn't realize that because we just recently watched Bunheads with her, but she doesn't dance in that ever because she's older at that point. Older.
Yeah, and I think your body kind of breaks down after using it that heavily
don't I know it.
At a young age. So yeah, so you get this really interesting look at her early life, trying to be like a working dancer, and then how during like market crashes and like when people don't have any money to go see Broadway shows and that kind of thing, how she kind of changes over to acting, and she does a couple things on Broadway. She originated the role of Sheila Bryant in A Chorus Line, which is like huge. She won a Tony for it. And she's done like a number of other really incredible things on the stage. And then she played Baby's mom in Dirty Dancing, and that was kind of her big break. She was actually signed on to just be a like no talking role, or like one line. They like switched her out, and they were like, okay, well, this actress fell through. Do you want to play this role? It's for the entire shoot. And like, she's talking about how all of the roles that she'd gotten up until then, she never got to like hang out on the film set. She'd like go for a couple days and then leave because they didn't need her anymore. And so she finally got to be in a role and like hang out the entire shoot and like feel like she was actually part of the cast. So that was kind of neat. And then she talks about some TV stuff that she did. But of course, she landed the role of Emily Gilmore, which is what I think most people know her from. And you get to hear about the Palladinos. You get to hear about her relationship with the other two Gilmore Girls. And you get to hear about kind of the highs and the lows of shooting a show for that long. Also, her relationship with Ed Herman. You get to hear about her personal life as well with her husbands. And you just get to like kind of live an entire life with her in like a pretty short amount of time. I feel like this book could have been like 15 hours long because there were parts where I was like, oh, I just really want more information on that. I want to know, like, I want to dive deeper into that story. But I found it really interesting. And she's just very captivating. She read it. So I always like a memoir where the author is reading their own words. And yeah, you really get that like kind of personal touch. So I enjoy that. I would recommend it over and over again. It came up in my holds while we were away on our big trip. And it sat I borrowed it. It sat in my Libby app and returned itself, and I had to like go back on the wait list for it.
Oh, that's why it took so long.
Yeah. But it was worth it, and I recommend it to everybody. It is called The Third Gilmore Girl, a memoir by Kelly Bishop. And the foreword is written and read by Amy Sherman Palladino.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I don't know anything about her personally. I only know her shows.
Yeah. You do get some like juicy gossip about season 7 of Gilmore Girls. So,
oh.
Yeah.
I was going to get into all of that, but maybe that can be an off-air thing.
Mm-hmm. I've had a very Gilmore Girls week too. Like I finished this like 2 weeks ago. And then Lorelai Gilmore, what's her name in real life? Lorelai Gilmore was on a podcast that I listened to as well. So it's been like all Gilmore Girls, and I really want to watch Gilmore Girls now, but I can wait. It's fine. But I've gotten a lot of like Gilmore Girls talk in my headphones in the last couple weeks. So Gilmore Girls.
Lauren Graham.
All I could think
She's
was
always Lorelai.
I knew it was
to me.
an L name, but all I could think of was Lorelai.
Yeah.
But yes, Lauren Graham's also very interesting and like very funny just generally.
Yeah.
And I have also listened to her memoir called Talking as Fast as I Can.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which was also really interesting.
Wait, does Rory have a memoir yet?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
As soon as she does.
But I really want to listen to it because there will be a good amount on Handmaid's Tale in it as well.
Oh, yeah.
So
Alexis Bledel?
Yeah.
Okay, I remembered that
Sisterhood
one.
of the Traveling Pants, Handmaid's Tale, Gilmore Girls. I think that'll be a really interesting memoir.
Did you ever see Sin City?
No.
We'll probably do it on this someday.
There was a lady with like a sword for a leg or something, right?
No, I think you're thinking of Planet Terror.
Yes. Was it a sword?
It might have been a gun. I think it was a gun.
Yeah, okay.
There are swords in Sin City, though.
And that's not the movie where Uma Thurman wears a yellow tracksuit, right?
That's Kill Bill.
Okay. It's all like one movie in my brain.
I completely understand.
It's all one movie.
Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill.
Yeah.
But it's actually just a bunch of shots taken from 70s kung fu movies.
Uh-huh.
And he directs a scene in Sin City. But Sin City is directed by Robert Rodriguez, who did direct Planet Terror as well.
Okay. Well, that's confusing.
It's the same people making a lot of
It's
it.
all, yeah, I don't know. It's 3 different movies, and for some reason in my brain, they're all one movie, so.
It's funny. I just heard something all about Sin City yesterday. I was just thinking, like, I haven't thought about that movie in so long. Maybe that should be my pick. So we are watching. No, I almost changed, but I already had a pick.
Oh, okay.
And I promised you something very light and fast.
Yes. So, Indy,
Yes.
what are we going to be watching as our first movie for season 7?
So we were talking about how I thought it's good to expose people to all sorts of different stuff. You hadn't seen a lot of Asian cinema, so we've been watching that, or older movies. But then I realized, like, we just grew up differently, even though we are quite close.
Yeah.
You haven't watched a lot of black movies.
No.
So we're going to change that. So we're just going to watch Friday. Because you've never seen Friday.
I don't know
And
what Friday is, but I'm
is
going to.
I don't know what was like this. Maybe Breakfast at Tiffany's. Something that you watched a lot of from the ages of like 12 to 16.
Yeah.
I watched Friday a lot back then. And we would quote it constantly. It's just a fun movie. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. I think it's a very good movie. Do you know anything about Friday
No.
at all?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what we're watching.
So it's a movie
You
from...
just keep saying the name of a day of the week over and over again. So it's a movie.
To some people, Friday is just the day before the weekend. But
I
after
like.
this Friday, the neighborhood will never be the same.
Whoa.
I can quote this, like I can just do the movie right now if you want.
Let's just watch it.
But we're gonna watch it.
Okay.
Friday was released in 1995, and it stars Ice Cube.
Oh, of course.
You know Ice Cube.
I know Ice Cube.
Chris Tucker.
Wait, Ice Cube from like Law and Order, right?
Oh God.
I only said that because I knew it would hurt your soul. No, I know him from other things.
That's also not Ice Cube.
Who's that?
That's Ice-T.
Well, that's confusing.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You'll see Ice Cube and be like, oh yeah, Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Ice Cube's actually, I think, a pretty solid actor. Most famous from NWA, and then what other movies did he do? Like now he's kind of a joke because he's done like Are We There Yet 6 or whatever it is.
Oh.
But he made some good movies early in his life. And Chris Tucker, do you know him?
No.
I bet he's someone you'll know when you hear him.
I feel like I know the name,
Yeah.
but I can't picture anything when I think about him.
After this, he actually had, he did 3, maybe 4 movies with Jackie Chan. The Rush Hour movies.
Okay.
I was going to tell you some more of the cast, but I feel like if you don't know who Ice Cube and Chris Tucker are, you probably don't know Nia Long. She had a very good career. Tiny Zeus Lister, or Tom Lister, or Zeus Lister, depending on where he is.
Those are all good names.
Yeah, Tiny Zeus is in this. Man, I loved that guy. When I was a kid, we made comic books, and I made a character based on him. John Witherspoon's in this. Regina King.
I know Regina King.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And DJ Pooh. You probably don't know DJ Pooh.
No.
Faison Love. Faison Love was in Always Sunny, so you might know him from that.
Okay.
But in this, he plays Big Worm.
Big Worm.
There's just so many lines in this that I think are hilarious. This short pitch is, it's Friday. There's two friends. One of them just got fired from his job, and they have to make like $200 that they owe, I guess, a bully, like a neighborhood bully.
Oh.
Because it's a different time. It's
Right.
95. And so your neighborhood just has a bully who comes and like takes your stuff.
Oh, that seems
And I
mean.
think it might be maybe a world that you don't see as many movies in. And it's hilarious, it's lovable, it's rewatchable, it's infinitely quotable. People quote this movie, and then when I mention something about Friday, they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, your quote that you just said is from the movie Friday. And they're like, oh no, it's just the thing people say. So it's gotten bigger than itself.
Oh.
Have you ever heard someone go, bye, Felicia?
Yeah.
Why do they say that?
I don't know.
Because it's from Friday.
Okay.
You know what? That's all getting cut, but we'll just say I quoted a bunch more of Friday and you didn't know those ones.
No, and I'm clueless.
But you know bye, Felicia. So that's something.
I do.
All right. So we are going to watch Friday. It is a very quick 90 minutes.
Woohoo.
And man, it's just going to fly right by.
Perfect.
I'm so excited to watch it again. This is the kind of movie we need to do more of, where I'm just like, oh, I just want to go watch it right now.
Yeah.
Although I feel like that a lot. But this one we actually can, because you can watch it and still get to bed at a decent time.
Perfect.
So let's go watch Friday. We'll meet back here. We'll talk about it some more.
Okay, see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.